guys, it's Scarlett. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about creative pursuits you can do during this time that will keep you sane. Because really we all need, I don't know if you could hear that, but a really loud truck just drove by. We all need a little bit of sanity right now. I think a lot of people are struggling with mental health. Mental health, I know, worldwide is really suffering right now. So today I just want to talk about some things that I personally do to keep me sane. If you've watched my channel, you know I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I am certainly no stranger to being home all day, every day. And I've developed a few coping mechanisms for when things get rough. This past winter, it wasn't particularly cold, but it has been very rainy. We couldn't go outside even on the milder days just because it's so muddy in the yard and it's just been raining nonstop. So I really got very good at finding indoor stuff to do to keep my mind in a good place while my daughter was playing or napping or at night after she went to bed or whatever. So even if you don't consider yourself to be an artist, you can certainly be creative. There are lots of different ways you can pursue creativity, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the field of visual art either. There's lots of other things you can do. I am by no means an accomplished artist. I'm not a very good sketcher. I'm really not a good painter either, but I do it anyway because it makes me happy. And being creative makes me happy. So some of the things that I do to sort of clear my head, get creative, feel better, I paint, I attempt to draw, I color. I have some coloring books, but really, I was printing off and coloring pages before the coloring books started coming out, so that's something I've actually been doing for quite a while. I make candles. I craft wreaths and flower arrangements. Recently I've started making bath salt mixtures, herbal salt mixtures for the bath, and I crochet. And I make a lot of my own decorations for Sabbats and for holidays. Right now I have a wreath hanging on my door that I made. There are so many different ways. There's so many creative outlets you can take advantage of that are available for you. So you just have to find one that's right for you. And I know some of us are completely stuck inside right now. So it might be a case of just using what you have available. So things that I personally do, as I mentioned, I craft. This is a wreath that I'm currently working on that I plan to hang here in my bedroom when it's all done. This is a coloring page I pulled out of a book of like Nordic designs that I'm filling in with watercolors instead of colored pencils, just for something different to do. I did some watercolors last night. This is the 4 elements and spirit, so actually the 5 elements, and then I added some color around. I bought these little tiny canvas boards from the Dollar Tree, and I painted the symbol of the goddess with some flowers, and I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe the spirit of the goddess moving over the earth. I'm going to do the god, the symbol for the god, and then another one maybe with some runes on it, and then, you know, have like a series up on the wall. I did this one last night, the symbol of the god and the goddess with some runes and some flowers. I'm actually kind of proud of this one because I freehanded all of it. I made myself a travel altar. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen the contents of that. I'm going to do a separate video on my travel altar. But I painted the outside completely and created a couple of the items that are inside. I crochet. Right now I'm working on a huge blanket that we can all fit under on the couch. I am not a super advanced crocheter. It's something I've only been doing for about 5 years, but I do make scarves and hats and ear warmers and things of that nature. I'm right now practicing how to do round things, so I'm going to try to make, some coasters. I've made washcloths, anything really that, is functional. I made a cozy to go around my French press so that my coffee doesn't get so cold. So there's lots of different things you can do. I also found this at Five Below. It says, "You're Weird, a creative journal for misfits, oddballs, and anyone else who's uniquely awesome." And it's just this fun journal. It's got pages that are writing prompts. It's got drawing pages for you to draw. It's got prompts for that. It's just filled with all sorts of fun things to do. So if you can't think of anything else creative that you want to pick up and try, see if you can track down something like this. It's basically like a workbook, but it works, really, for all ages. You can get something like this for your kids as well if they're getting stir crazy right now. Something else that I do is I am a musician, and so is my husband. So we will pick up the guitar, sit down at the piano, and sing and play music to blow off steam. My husband plays a number of instruments. He plays the bass, and when he was in high school, he played the trombone and the tuba, so he's incredibly versatile as an instrumentalist. So that's something that, is kind of an advantage in our family. I play a couple of instruments, not as well, but I'm actually thinking about picking up the dulcimer. There is actually a lot of places around here in southern Indiana where you can get handmade dulcimers, and they're very inexpensive, all things considered. I was very surprised by the prices I saw. I guess we're just close enough to Appalachia where it's sort of bled over into our musical culture here. There's actually a couple of local dulcimer bands. So that's something I'm thinking about doing, and I figured there's no time like right now. So a list of things you can do to get creative and keep yourself occupied during this time of isolation, of social distancing, of quarantine, and this time of high stress in our society as a global culture. Everyone's on edge right now. So let's talk about some things you can do. So this is assuming you don't have any fancy art supplies around the house. Honestly, if you have a pencil and a paper or a notebook, you can sketch. Or maybe you prefer pens. Pick up a pen. I know a lot of people who sketch prefer these gel ink, liquid ink pens because they make for really beautiful drawings. You can, like I said, pick up a pencil. It doesn't have to be a specific fancy drawing pencil. I think the best pencils in the world are the Dixon Ticonderoga yellow schoolhouse pencils. They're the greatest. Just pick up a pencil and sketch. Sketch what you see outside your window. Go outside and sketch. If you're not under strict quarantine, you can go outside. If you're fortunate enough to have a yard or access to a green space of some kind, even if it's shared, sit outside and sketch the wildflowers that are popping up right now. Outside and sketch the flowers. Sketch a bird. So that's something you can do. Paint, if you happen to have paints on hand, Okay, my camera battery almost died, and I'm a little closer to you now, but I got it on the charger. Where was I? Painting. If you happen to have paints on hand, any kind of paints, get a piece of paper, get a piece of cardboard, and there's my phone. So pick up a piece of paper, pick up a piece of cardboard. If you have scrap plywood lying around, whatever you can find, and paint. And it doesn't have to be a picture of anything. It can just be swirls. It can be, splashes of paint. You could, channel the spirit of Jackson Pollock and just drip paint all over the place. Just do anything that gets you creating, that gets you using that part of your brain that gets those creative juices flowing. Coloring, even if all you have is like your kids' color crayons or markers or their Crayola colored pencils, borrow those. You can print off coloring sheets. You don't have to go out and buy these really fancy volumes of adult coloring books. You can find a lot of stuff online that's offered for free. So do that. And color. And coloring is a great way you can practice those artistic skills like shading and, and all those things. And you can do it while you're watching television or listening to the radio or listening to a podcast, or you can do it in silence. It's up to you. How do you want to spend that time? Another thing you can do is crafts. If you're able to go out and you can buy crafts, I buy most of my craft supplies at the Dollar Tree. I get wreaths and ribbons and paints and all kinds of things, paint brushes, beads, glitter. They even have some of the foam boards that you can cut into different shapes and make things. So go out, get yourself some inexpensive art supplies and do a craft. Make a holiday decoration or something for a Sabbath. You can make something for all 8 Sabbats. Go nuts. We have, Ostara is behind us now, but we've got Beltane coming up. And so you can make something to get ready for that. You can start thinking about it. If you have a musical instrument lying around the house that you've always wanted to learn to play but haven't, now is the time to pick it up, learn to play. There are endless tutorials on YouTube. Some of them are better than others, so maybe don't just jump on the first one you find. Watch a couple, find one that is a higher quality. The teachers seem to know what they're talking about. But there's a lot of stuff on YouTube where you can go for musical instruction on different instruments like the guitar, ukulele, I think even piano. You can put on a play. Write your own play or find one online that you can use. I think a lot of things are available right now for free due to, the isolation everyone is experiencing. So you can go online, download a play you find, and perform the play in your living room with your children or your spouse or whatever. Even just sitting there reading lines with someone can be a lot of fun. It can be really freeing. It's like an out-of-body experience. If you've never acted or done theater, it's very freeing because you get to step into someone else's shoes, someone else's clothing, someone else's world, and be someone else for a little bit. So even if you're just sitting there reading lines, you could be doing all the characters yourself. Try it out. Something else you can do is write. Write a short story, write poetry, write prose, write whatever, journal. Absolutely. Write down what's happening in the world right now. We are living in a really important moment in the history of planet Earth. And you're going to want to be able to remember it in 10, 20, 30 years. So write it down. Write down what's happening. Keep a journal of your everyday activities. Keep a journal of things that other people have been doing, what's going on. And writing it out in a narrative that you can go back and look at later is going to be incredibly valuable And right now it's going to be incredibly freeing, and it's going to make you feel a lot better about your situation. I love this tea. So those are some ideas, some jumping off points to get you going. Moon coming up, or that's happening this week. I think it's actually tomorrow, so it'll probably be over by the time I get this video posted. But this particular new moon is very powerful. It's going to be the most powerful new moon of 2020. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of the energy that's going to be present, and do something creative. Do something crafty. Make a potion. Do an easy spell. A lot of people are lighting candles and doing spells to relieve the world of this COVID-19 illness. Do something that requires you to create. Make up your own ritual of healing. And take advantage of this new moon energy. And it'll be around later in the week as well. But take advantage of the energy in the universe right now to do something positive. So this video got a little more rambly than I had intended, and that's okay. I hope this gave you some ideas for stuff that you can do. So try not to lose hope, stay positive, and most importantly, stay kind.